operate them. You don't want to ruin them. You don't want to ruin them. And I've always thought to myself, where did that rationale come from? Where did the rationale come from that quarterbacks are delicate flowers?
Starters this week, and he should, I always say it this way, prove to me you can't do it. Prove to me you can't do it.
It's different for us. We're just gonna say that, black players, we can't speak out like some of the white players. Nothing against the white players. It's not even about that, We both have the same struggles. I mean, we really do. So it's just sometimes they want to make a statement, to show you that, you're not all that, I know they don't care for his dad, and I think Deion's a great guy. Deion tries to help these young men become men, not boys, and I just felt like it was wrong what they did to him. I mean, look, Mel Kiper said in 30 years he didn't see nothing like this.
The Browns have been under heavy fire this season, and much of the criticism has centered around their puzzling decision to keep Shedeur Sanders off the roster. With both Sanders and Dillon Gabriel sitting on the sidelines, frustration among analysts and fans has only grown louder. The central question refuses to fade. Why hasn't Shedeur Sanders been given his opportunity? Time and again, the Browns have leaned on the same tired explanation, that rookies simply aren't ready to handle the spotlight. But recently, Bush put that excuse under the microscope, forcing everyone to reconsider. He posed a striking challenge. Are these young quarterbacks really so fragile, like delicate flowers, unable to take even a single hit? Or are we underestimating their ability to rise to the challenge? This debate now raises deeper concerns about the Browns' quarterback hierarchy and whether they've been keeping a potential star locked away for far too long.
Oh, they're not ready to play. That has nothing to do with the player. It has to do with their readiness to see them. The readiness to see them.
George Bush didn't hold back in his fiery critique of the Browns. He emphasized that the issue has nothing to do with rookies being unprepared or unable to handle NFL pressure. Instead, he pointed directly at the organization's unwillingness to put Shedeur Sanders on the field. Bush mocked the narrative that young quarterbacks aren't ready, calling it nothing more than a convenient shield for a franchise too afraid to take risks. According to him, this isn't about player development or carefully timed opportunities. It's about a conscious decision not to trust Sanders, and that's a decision that demands scrutiny from fans and analysts alike. Why continue to cling to manufactured excuses when fresh talent like Sanders has already displayed the ability to step up? Bush wasn't the only one to raise the alarm. Dan Orlovski added fuel to the fire, directly blasting head coach Kevin Stefanski for his mishandling of the situation. During his segment, Orlovski asked the uncomfortable question, why is Sanders still warming the bench when he's already proven capable? If Stefanski truly believes Sanders isn't ready, then where's the evidence? Where's the explanation that justifies keeping a promising rookie locked away? Orlovski reminded everyone that Sanders already showcased his poise, accuracy, and toughness during the preseason. He's faced pressure, stared down defenses, and still delivered, proof that he's far from fragile. Those performances aren't just flashes, they're statements. They prove that the rookie deserves a shot. Orlovski made it crystal clear. The time has passed for excuses. The Browns can no longer afford to keep Sanders hidden. If Stefanski truly wants to lead this team forward, he must give Shedeur Sanders the opportunity to step onto the big stage and prove he belongs.
Starters this week, and he should, I always say it this way, prove to me you can't do it. Prove to me you can't do it.
Now, NFL legend Eric Dickerson has stepped forward, pulling no punches as he reveals what he sees as a troubling truth playing out before the public eye. In his view, Shedeur Sanders isn't being dismissed because of his play on the field. His talent speaks for itself. Instead, Dickerson argues the issue cuts much deeper. It's about race. During a powerful interview, he drew a sharp distinction, saying this isn't about the white players. But when it comes to Shedeur and his father, Deion Sanders, he believes something larger and systemic is at work. His words go beyond simple critique. They serve as a challenge, a call for accountability and change. To Dickerson, this battle isn't just about football decisions. It's about racism itself, an entrenched force working to silence and diminish influential black voices within the game.
It's different for us. I'm just gonna say that, black players, we can't speak out like some of the white players. Nothing against the white players. It's not even about that. We both have the same struggles. I mean, we really do. So it's just sometimes they want to make a statement, to show you that, you're not all that. I know they don't care for his dad. And I think Deion's a great guy. Deion tries to help these young men become men, not boys. And I just felt like it was wrong what they did to him. I mean, look, Mel Kiper said in 30 years he didn't see nothing like this.
Even the Browns eventually had to acknowledge the mounting criticism. To address the backlash, Bill Musgrave stepped forward in an attempt to ease concerns and provide clarity on Shedeur Sanders' situation. Musgrave emphasized that both Sanders and Dillon Gabriel are far from being neglected. Instead, he explained, the two young quarterbacks are being carefully developed behind the curtain, receiving steady reps, detailed instruction, and hands-on coaching at every step of the process. While Sanders hasn't yet been given live game action, Musgrave insisted this is by design, not dismissal. According to him, the staff is fully committed to polishing Sanders' abilities so that when his number is finally called, he'll be more than prepared. Musgrave reassured fans that the organization's focus is on ensuring Sanders not only gets a shot but thrives at the highest level.
Grass or even in on the carpet where we have more space, so there's ways that we are trying to be creative, and it happens with each quarterback room in the whole league at all levels of football. You're just the guys that have to be ready to play, but also they're young, and so you want them to develop. And
the mounting pressure on Kevin Stefanski to finally give Shedeur Sanders a shot had reached a breaking point. Week after week, the Browns' offense stumbled, and with each disappointing performance, it became harder for Stefanski to justify sticking to the same stale approach. What once seemed like a strategic choice now looked more like stubbornness. Rumors began swirling throughout the league that Stefanski's very job could be at risk if he refused to make change. The reality was becoming painfully obvious. If the Browns continued on this downward spiral, serious consequences for Stefanski's future were inevitable. Frustration wasn't just brewing among fans. It was spreading through analysts, commentators, and even parts of the organization itself. The message couldn't be ignored any longer. Something had to change, and it had to change quickly. The clock was ticking, and the pressure on Stefanski to act was growing louder by the day. Yet, despite the calls for change, Stefanski doubled down on Joe Flacco. Once again, the veteran's performance was underwhelming, leaving the Browns' offense sputtering and far from effective. The only saving grace came from the defense. Refusing to let the game slip away, the unit rose to the occasion, dominating at an elite level and keeping the team alive. Their relentless effort paid off, allowing the Browns to narrowly escape with a victory over the Green Bay Packers. It was clear to everyone watching, the defense carried the load, while Flacco's struggles continued to weigh down the offense. As the situation grew more intense, voices demanding Shedeur Sanders' opportunity grew louder. The call for his release from the bench had transformed from simple chatter to a movement, with many believing Sanders had earned his chance long ago. The bigger question now loomed large. If the Browns weren't going to play him, should they consider moving on? Reports quickly surfaced that teams like the Miami Dolphins had strong interest in Sanders, further complicating Cleveland's dilemma. His market value was rising, and analysts began openly debating whether the Browns should hold on to a player they seemed unwilling to trust. Fans, too, started to call for a fresh start, arguing that a new environment could unlock Sanders' full potential. Now, with the spotlight fixed firmly on them, the Browns face a defining decision. Will they finally unleash Shedeur Sanders, or will they let another team, perhaps Miami, seize the opportunity Cleveland continues to waste?
You trade Shedeur Sanders. You clearly are not sold on him right now. You're not sold on the progress that he's making, even though you're saying, hey, we're happy with where he's at.
I'm going to be livid if it goes down, by the way.
Many analysts, former players, and fans alike continue to raise the same pressing question. Why hasn't a young, talented quarterback like Shedeur Sanders been given a shot? After all, his preseason performances were more than promising, showcasing poise, accuracy, and the ability to thrive under pressure. Instead of rewarding that effort, the Browns' refusal to let him take the field has now become one of the most hotly debated issues surrounding the team. The longer the coaching staff avoids providing a clear answer, the more the pressure mounts for them to explain a decision that feels increasingly indefensible. Reactions to this controversy are wide-ranging, but many analysts haven't minced words. Some have even gone so far as to accuse the Browns of corruption, of deliberately protecting the status quo rather than embracing young talent. According to these critics, the organization fears that if rookies like Sanders are given real opportunities, they may outshine the established veterans the franchise has invested so heavily in. By clinging to the safety of their veteran roster, the Browns may be stifling not only Sanders' growth, but also the future of their quarterback room. Yet the conversation doesn't stop there. A deeper, more uncomfortable layer has been added to the debate. Eric Dickerson's pointed critique shifted the narrative from being purely about football decisions to something more systemic. His comments suggested that Sanders' situation could reflect an ingrained reluctance to elevate prominent black quarterbacks, especially when their rise might challenge entrenched power structures within the league. In Dickerson's view, this isn't just about game plans or development. It's about representation, equity, and a stubborn resistance to change. That perspective has only heightened the scrutiny facing the Browns. Their handling of Sanders is no longer viewed in isolation. It has become a symbolic flashpoint in the broader conversation about race, opportunity, and fairness in the NFL. Each week that passes without Sanders seeing the field adds fuel to the fire, reinforcing the belief among many that something far more significant is at stake. Now, with tensions reaching a boiling point, the Browns face questions that extend well beyond the football field. Is this simply a case of an organization playing it safe, unwilling to risk its veterans looking bad? Or is there, as some argue, a deeper racial component at play, one that continues to hold young black quarterbacks to unfairly high standards? The clock is ticking, and Cleveland's decision will carry consequences not just for the team's future, but for the larger conversation shaping the NFL today.